The work is highly in bond with Jersey heritage of knitting. In the 16th, 17th centuries, knitting was the main industry for the least financially protected population, and knitting was so embedded into everyday existence that a woman without knitting needles, without knitting in her hands, was considered to be idle. So knitting became the equivalent of work, and even is reflected in Jerry language, where one of the meanings of the verb to work coincides and means to create a knitted fabric.
So when Yulia talked to me about this idea of knitting, I was like, okay. And at the same time, I was like, how the hell we're gonna do that? She proposed to me something that it was really interesting, that it was a knitting workshop, but a knitting workshop that we can relate to the movement workshop. So we brought a lot of different type of threads, and we start playing with it with the dancers. So we took time to explore with them, give them the material, touch the material, close the eyes, what are you feeling, giving them different type of emotions. We gather so much information, and that after we use them in the piece.
Knitting is such a humble craft and almost taken for granted, but when you start decomposing it into smaller movements, it becomes incredibly choreographic.
The background that she was bringing was so appealing and so powerful that it took part of the choreography.
So deliberate mistake was a practice of the Jersey knitters to add a certain deviation or the error in the pattern of the knitted jumper, and it was done only to identify the body if they would drown at sea. So it was an identification tag.
One thing that I really like about the whole knitting process is that when you are doing it, you have to have some kind of flow in the way, and if something is happening, you need to take a moment to thread like a knot that is like stopping you for continuing the flow and the process. And I wanted to relate that to our body, and I think often we protect ourselves and we create knots in our body that often we don't even realize, and so it's even harder to address them. I think that if people, they don't have a preconceived idea of what dance is, and they can detach a bit and see movement as something essential for life, your identity, your culture, your family is making you move the way you do, and that this is also a type of dance. So I think in that case, dance, art, this type of creation has a really important message to pass.